What are you guys gonna use them by then?
Probably something custom for our front end. Hey, we're live.
Oh yeah, we're live. Yeah, I just thought it would be. It was about time.
Yeah.
Everybody, welcome to the Repreneur Show, episode 5. I am with Nick Barry and his magnificent beard. And tonight we're going to be talking about how to deal with shitty, can't say that, crappy customers. My name is Gideon Walker. I am trying to grow a magnificent beard just like him. Not quite there yet, but we're still in quarantine for another 2 weeks, so I'm sure to get there in time.
Good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
My beard came from sheer rage.
How do you grow a beard from rage? If that was the case, dude, I would have had like a Thor beard by now, man. I'm so enraged all the time. I'm so angry. So I got a mic stand, right?
Did you?
So now, yeah. See, now it's like hanging like that with a shock mount on there.
Nice.
I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, I like it. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, we're talking about going the podcast route, and I'm like, so we get equipment, or do I got to record a podcast off of my Jabra headset? Which honestly, I'd rather have I got some crap from a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago on a webinar because I had this headset on. I'm like, dude, it's wired. It never fails. I don't have to worry about batteries going dead. I don't have to worry about making sure I know where my plug-in is. It works, and it has really good audio. So I'm like, unless I'm getting a really nice mic.
Well, no, I mean, I can attest to that, dude. It comes out loud and clear, and dude, I can't knock you for it, man. If it works, it works.
Yeah. So, crappy customers.
Customers.
My crappy customer stories are nothing, I'm sure, compared to your crappy customer stories.
I don't know. This isn't a contest.
Even in previous companies, I've been I've had some really dumb customers, but I'm like, I want to get you taken care of. I want to make sure you come, and maybe not even necessarily come back, but maybe you tell somebody else about the service we provided because you were an idiot and poured a can of Coke down an piece of electrical test equipment, or put a grain moisture testing machine in basically there's a lean-to with no walls in rural Arkansas near the Georgia border. So imagine all the humidity, all the rain, the salt in the air, because they literally get the same. It's almost coastal air. Left this moisture tester sitting in a lean-to, plugged in for 3 years, and then when they sent it to us and we had to replace the main testing circuit board, that cost $1,000. They were upset with me, and that I wouldn't cover it under warranty.
Well, God, Okay.
that was the level of those are my most, the customers that stand out the most to me. And it was just a matter of just saying I understand, trying to repeat what they said, and I was at the end of that day, I was like, I'm gonna go home and get a very large glass of whiskey.
Dude, okay. So part of the reason why we came up with this topic for the show is because you and I have both dealt with really, really crappy customers. Right? There's no end to it. I mean, there really isn't. I mean, it's basic. They're like the meme, Karen, right? I'm sure you've dealt with your fair share of Karens, so have I. And then I noticed that there wasn't really a one for guys, right? Like a name for guys that act like that, right? So it's like Carl,
Rand,
well, Karen and Carl, right? Like all the Karens out there, all the Carls out there. I mean, Randy or Rand, yeah, I guess that'd be kind of like one of the names. But I was just trying to go with the whole, C thing, right? So, like I've worked in a lot of different types of customer service jobs. Being a server, I worked at EB Games. Do you remember EB Games?
I do remember EB Games.
Yeah. So their customer service call center was here in Las Vegas, and I worked there when I was like 19. Oh, God bless them for even hiring a 19-year-old to do customer service for them. But I felt so bad because it was a seasonal job, and it was like during like the Christmas time, right?
Yeah.
And I would get on the call with these people, and they're like, it's like 1 week before Christmas, and I'm getting bitched out and cussed out at by freaking Karen because she couldn't get her son's PlayStation in time. It wasn't going to be delivered until after Christmas. So I look up her order, and it's like, well, ma'am, you ordered ground like yesterday. Like, it's not coming in. It's like, wow, I want to talk with your manager. And it's like, okay. And basically tells them the same thing. It's like, oh my God. Like, look, I don't control shipping. It's like you should have ordered earlier.
Yeah. And people don't understand, once it's shipped, you can't change it. Once it's in UPS or FedEx or the Postal Service's hands, you cannot change the delivery of that product. And they don't get it. Like the test equipment I used to sell and service, it was a $6,000, like the cheapest one we had was a $6,000 piece of test equipment. And people would be like, well, why does it take so long to get there? I was like, well, because you told us to send it back ground, and we're in Iowa and you're in Arizona. And it weighs 100 pounds.
Well, not only that, but like, okay, how long ago was that, right?
I left the company 4 years ago.
Okay. So, like back in the day, like it used to be, like ground used to take like 10 days.
Yeah. Well, depending on, like there was no massive warehouses all over the country of the same product. Basically, Amazon created the CDN, the content delivery network, for delivery for physical products.
Oh, physical. Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
They created a CDN of physical products. They basically have little seed warehouses of all the shit that gets ordered all the time. All of it. Like they're building one here in Des Moines.
Oh, really?
It's going to be the single largest warehouse facility in the state of Iowa when it's all said and done.
Yeah, for you guys, for those of you like technologically inept people, CDNs are, like if you're in California and you're like trying to access something that, like a server out in New York, right? It goes through like what, maybe 3 or 4 content delivery networks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's just a way to like make sure that everybody, gets the information as quickly as possible to their computers.
Yeah. So people don't understand or appreciate even 6-7 years ago, like when Prime first came out, Amazon Prime delivery was groundbreaking. Free 2-day shipping.
Yeah.
For any product in that Prime category. That changed and it made mom and pop e-commerce basically roll over and die until they figured out how to start getting, raise their price enough to cover free shipping or free ground shipping or whatever. But
what's funny, because it's only been like in the past couple of years that like Walmart and Target had started to try to do the same thing, right?
Yep.
They're like even like same day shipping, right?
Yeah.
If it was close enough. And it's like, Jesus Christ, like how do you? I don't know. It's like I used to tell people like I don't want to be the next Walmart, right? Like I don't want like the lowest prices.
Yeah.
Like how do you compete with that? But then when you try to compete with Amazon with their shipping policies, it's like, how do you compete with that?
You don't.
They have their own delivery trucks now.
Yeah, they've created their own logistics network. You don't compete with Amazon. You compete by being the local expert in the thing you do. I mean, that's really the only way local business survives. The guys I work for, the founders of our company, their dad has a seed company. It's a seed company in Keokuk, Iowa, which is in the corner armpit of Iowa, and it's just a little tiny town. But he's wildly successful because he's the guy everybody goes to, no matter what, no matter where you bought a product, he'll teach you how to use it. He doesn't care that you bought it at Walmart because he knows when that Walmart shovel or that Walmart product breaks, you're going to come back and remember,
right?
Come to him.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. I mean, well, I guess it's I don't know. I think a lot of it's kind of like dependent, on certain factors. It's like when I used to work at a like car audio shop, like installing tent and car audio, right? It's like we were working on this one BMW, and like we couldn't find this particular wire. I don't remember exactly what it was for. So I again, I'm like 18, 19 years old, right? I tried calling BMW, like the local BMW, to talk with one of the service reps or the techs.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, look, man, I work at this car audio place. I'm trying to install a radio in this car. Can you tell me where this wire goes? Like just one wire, right?
Yeah.
And the guy was such a fucking dick to me. He was like, why would I tell you that? He's like, you're not paying me to tell you that. I was like, oh, holy hell, guy. Like, are you going to install it? No, you're not. You're like, what do you want from me? I'm not fucking paying you.
Thank God they're like, don't you wish that when you were doing car audio, the YouTube existed?
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
I don't know how many
problems.
Low voltage shocks I gave myself. Just trying to get an amp installed, like, or how to where to get the best place to run wires. I don't know how many cars I had that the wires were running under the cab of the car because I didn't want to pull a carpet out, or nobody told me, hey, pull the carpet out.
Yeah.
The fastest route in my brain was drill a hole, run it across the bottom of the car, drill another hole. and cable clamp it to the
and then if you lived in some place that has like a lot of salt on the roads,
just replace wires fast.
All right, I'll let you take this first part, man. Like, you want to do like top 10? I don't know if you have a top 10. You want to go from like worst to least worst? Can you? Is that even something you can even possibly put in order?
So, no, because I've got so many different. Because there's different types of customers. Like we were talking earlier today, we were both in the military, and I think there's not just paying customers, but like customers within your own company, customers within your own like department. Like when you're delivering products or services to another faction or group, those are customers too. So like when I was in aircraft maintenance, when I was an engine mechanic, and when I became a flying crew chief, pilots, air crew were my customers, and then also when I wasn't an engine mechanic, crew chiefs were my customer, making sure I got my shit done and delivering it to them on time. Those kind of customers I think are sometimes worse than paying customers.
Yeah, because they're not paying you.
I mean,
they have different expectations.
Yeah, the expectations, and just getting someone that you work with that's mad about something that maybe was out of your control even, and it's always been like getting that person back on your side. Like I've got one person I work with that I know when I do something wrong, the fastest way for me to get through it and get over it is just take the blame. Just like, that was my fault. It's just it sucks.
I agree with you, but at the same time, I'm like, God, I fucking hate that policy. Like,
yeah, and as I've gotten older, I've been able to do it much better. Especially the part when people talk about putting yourself in their shoes. It really sucks and it's really hard because you're dealing with your day, and then someone walks in, this didn't work, or it's like for you, like the stain didn't come out. You're like, I've been doing 700 things. This was like 2 weeks ago. How do I know you didn't even just stain it before you brought it back? You're dealing with your life, and then somebody walks in and just throws a wrench in everything you're doing.
Oh man, there were so many days where I was just like, I was having a really good day, and then there's that one fucker that comes in, and it's like, God damn it, this person like fucked up my day. Like,
Yeah.
and
So
everybody can be like, well, you shouldn't let them, ruin your day, right? Like you're totally in control of your emotions, and you should be able to be higher than. It's like, no, you know what? Fuck you, guy.
fuck
Like
that.
I just this guy came in and he fucked up my day, right? Like he didn't have to come in today. Or you didn't have to come in at all. You could give me a phone call. You could have emailed. You could have said something else. Like, you didn't have to come in here like fucking guns blazing at
You could
me.
have tweeted at me and
You
made
know,
it would
it's
have been
like
better.
I'm like a fucking deer caught in the headlights, right? I'm like, what? What's going on?
Yeah. And
It's go ahead.
It's a tough position to find yourself in. And it's always been like my I think the worst customer I've ever had to deal with, paying customer, was when I worked in ag. This agriculture.
Okay.
When I sold and serviced the agricultural test equipment,
Mhm.
we had a farmer who was affiliated with he was basically ran the test plots for one of the largest seed corn producers in the country. This guy was in charge of all of their test equipment, and his dumbass knocked a can of Coke into the top of this piece of test equipment, right into the test cell. The piece of equipment was less than 3 months old, and it cost $30,000. And to give you a reference of the top of where the top of the test cell is, imagine this is the test cell, and this is the platform which the equipment sits in. The Coke would have had to be sitting right here because it was round. It was made so you can't set things on it. So he literally, and it was like this, this is a can of, this is a Coke can. I mean, it literally was sat this far below the lid.
Yeah.
So he would have had to literally pour it in, or trip and it fell in there. I was like, and he insisted that he was going to cancel any future orders and cancel all our contracts and everything else because his dumbass dumped a can of Coke down a piece of test equipment.
This is why people are the worst.
We're talking like a $3 million a year contract.
Maybe he just
his
did
contract paid my mortgage, basically. And the manufacturer they weren't moving on it, and we didn't, like, it was such a new piece of equipment, we didn't even have a backlog of like old equipment we could salvage to make it work again. And it sucked to go into the owner's office and go, listen, this dude from this company ruined a tester. We don't know if he did, because he also was adamant against the purchase of this equipment because it was a new standard and he wanted to stay on the old standard. So my gut was this dude did it on purpose so his lab wouldn't have to change to this new piece of equipment, and he could continue using the old piece of shit they've been using for 20 years.
Right. Well, that's what, that was the first thing that popped in my head, was just like, dude, he probably did it on purpose, just to get out of his contract. And it's like, oh man.
Well, it wasn't, they weren't ever going to get, like, the contract wasn't, they weren't going to get out of it. It was they had signed this contract, and the VPs and legal at this multi-billion-dollar company had signed off on a contract. So, and we were just a middleman at the time. Just basically, we were there. We got a commission to sell them, but our main money maker on that was servicing them and the warranty service.
All right.
So it took everything inside me to not tell him to go fuck himself. I mean, I had been in the field, and I looked at a farmer and said, "You're fucking stupid," before, to their face. So it was well known in the company that that's a very good possibility coming out of my mouth. But still, they still let me do customer facing work. But and I knew it was like, and it took everything in me, and eventually we came to an agreement that he would pay we wouldn't charge him service. He would pay for 100, like his department would pay for 100% of parts. We just didn't charge him the labor, which that's we were still making markup on the parts. So we were like, okay, whatever.
Oh, there you go. All right.
But it was still like that situation. It was like a week of nothing but drama in the office. Every time I walked in the office, I was like, I'd get a message that he'd called me again, and I was like, I don't want to fucking
I don't want to talk
anymore. Let me figure out how to let's figure out a compromise that so where you don't feel so bad. But that's probably my number one worst customer I ever had to deal with, just because of the ramifications. It could have long term when that contract expired, they could have went to another vendor.
Yeah.
Funny story is the company I was working for ended up going out of business, not because of that contract, but because our manufacturer went around us on all of our contracts and sold directly to all of our customers.
Son of a bitch.
Yep. That's when I got out of ag sales. It was about 9 months after that happened.
Dude, to this day, I still have not. I know what I say and like my attitude and the way I word things. It seems like I would say something like this, but to this day, I have not told a customer to fuck off yet. Not yet. I've been able to hold myself back.
Now that you're aging, it's less likely going to happen. Like I found myself like when I was 25 and then like when I was in advertising sales, I had no problem telling somebody they're fucking stupid or that's a fucking dumb idea, or especially like when I get ad creative and I'd look at the customers like, I'm not fucking running that in my paper. Because at the end of the day, I knew I could, if they didn't buy it, I'd just go sell that same space to somebody else. But, and I hope that, well, like Twitter didn't exist yet. So
Yeah. Oh, fuck Twitter too, man. That's just fucking another cesspool of like whiny Karens and Carls.
Yes. Yeah. But that's probably my worst. I've had, like in the military, I had a lieutenant who we had a major break on a piece of equipment, and basically it was going to ground a plane that would mess up the entire flight logistics for a mission, and he was up my ass about making this plane airworthy. And I looked at him, I said, I cannot make this plane airworthy because we don't have the parts, because this is a 30-year-old aircraft. I was working on C-130s at the time, which were built in 1976. And like the
same ones that we sing in the songs while we march and run to cadence.
Yep. So it was like dealing with, and then when I told him too fucking bad, and I ended up in the commander's office, the maintenance commander's office, because I told the lieutenant too fucking bad. And
lieutenants, man. Fuck lieutenants.
The funny thing is I had just gotten my line number for staff sergeant. So my commander was like, you're talking to a future staff sergeant. Leave him the fuck alone. He's one of my best mechanics. It was always so awesome, because if we always try, like I always tried to be respectful to my superiors, but there was points when I'm like, especially when you're in the middle of something stressful like that, like you're about to tell flight command that this aircraft isn't moving because there's a major component break and we can't get the part for a week. You're the bad guy already.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you, dude. No. And that's like, that's the crappy part. Because, and this is what I tell my kids all the time. I'm like, they're like, they start complaining about something, or like they don't want to do it because they feel like they're gonna get embarrassed. There they go. I tell them like, look, nobody cares about you. They're like, Dad, what? Why? Why would you say it? I'm like, no. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way. Just nobody cares about you. Like, everybody cares about themselves.
Yep.
So, just don't worry about what other people think about you. Like, just do your own thing. Just carry on,
Yeah. I think everybody always says, the saying goes, the customer's always right. No, the customer's not right. You just have to make them feel that they're right.
I got a different one on that.
Yeah.
One. Yeah, customer's not always right, but I feel like they deserve to be heard the first time.
Yes.
After I determine whether they're stupid or not, do they get a second chance to be heard? But at that point, it's like, okay, you're fucking stupid. Like, no, we're done. I'm done here.
Yeah, I wish I had prepared some work drama earlier today, so it kind of threw me off on my preparations. But if you get a chance, there's Starbucks actually has a de-escalation process.
Really?
For coffee.
Really?
Yes. Acknowledge
it's that bad.
Yeah, well, it's not that is that bad. It's they understand that making the customer feel like they've been heard is so important. They're willing to eat a $7 cup of coffee and remake it, no matter what the complaint is. It could be too cold 10 minutes after they got the cup of coffee, and the barista's responsibility is to make the customer feel acknowledged and resolve the problem. Like they enable baristas and the staff to up to a certain point of dollars to just fix the problem. And a lot of times companies don't enable their customers to do that.
Well, I mean, how much does it cost them to make that cup of coffee in the first place, though?
Right. It's just the cost of the product cost of a cup of a $7 soy chai latte double espresso is probably less than 50 cents, or product stuff including cup maybe $1. So their margins, just their product margins, are really high, but their margins are eaten up by real estate and everything, like real estate and how much they pay their people. So it's better for their brand to remake a cup of coffee than to argue with a customer. Like, I don't know how many times I've gone.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've gone to like a local mom and pop coffee shop and they fuck up my coffee legitimately. I know I'm not even going to go back because they're probably going to spit in my coffee.
Yeah.
But if Starbucks fucks up my coffee, they're going to replace it and they're going to have a smile on their face, and there's a really good chance there's no bodily fluids in my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the old adage, you never send your steak back.
Yeah. Oh man. Working as a server, I've never done that. I've never fucked with somebody's food.
It's not the servers I worry about, and I've waited tables a lot in my life. It's the cooks. It's the kitchen staff that I worry about.
I don't know, man. Like, even still, it's like I would never.
No, I would
fuck with somebody's food like that. But then at the same time, like whenever I go to eat, I'm always nice to the servers, man. I'm like, if something is wrong with my food, like, and I'll tell them, like, hey, dude, I'm sorry, man. Like, I ordered, medium. It's well done. I'm sorry, man.
That's the only time I would send a steak back.
Yeah,
it was overcooked. My funny story. My grandpa owned, I'm named after a bar and restaurant. My middle name is Lorenzo, and that was my grandpa's name, and is also his restaurant name. He had a if anybody asked for ketchup at a table where a steak was served, he would go to the table and ask what's wrong with the steak.
Or if you asked for A1.
Well, there wasn't an A1. There was no A1 in that restaurant. This was back into the 70s and 80s, but there was no. They had their own branded steak sauce, but you had to ask for it. But if you if you asked for ketchup, and it didn't matter if somebody had French fries.
Oh, really?
If anybody asked for ketchup, he would go to the table and ask if everything was okay with their steak.
Dude, like my mom, God bless her. She would. I had no idea what steak was supposed to taste like. She every time she made steak, it's like, eat it with ketchup. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's good. Yeah, good, mom. Thanks. And I just thought that was the normal thing, right? And then I actually had real steak, and I was medium well, no sauce, like just seasoned, salt and pepper, medium. I was like, my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And like, you don't need ketchup. Like,
No, you don't. And so tell me about the one customer who sticks out in your brain. Like once a month, you go, "Fuck that guy."
oh man, the worst one that I've had happened recently, right before this whole beer bug thing started. So I got called an ageist. not directly using that term, but she basically said, like, you either have something against my husband, or you have something against me, or you have something against old people. And I was like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything that we're talking about right now? Anyways, yeah, she's like the worst person I've ever dealt with. Like, I never been so pissed in my life at the store after dealing with a customer than this person here. So, like, longtime customer, coming to us for like 15, 20 years or whatever, right? Fine, cool. For the most part, she's kind of hard to deal with, and it's always I'm sorry, whoever's listening to this, it's always women. 90% of the time it's women who are like the worst to deal with, because they always have something to complain about. Sorry, Karens. So basically what happened was, husband's always the one who brings in the clothes, because he's like just like this beta cuck of a husband. And one of his pants like had this weird stain on it, and he was like, yeah, you guys burned my pants. And it's like, I took a look at it. It's like, dude, that's not burn. Like, that's stain. He's like, well, it wasn't there before. And I was like, yeah, so I started explaining, like, there's a lot of different factors that can cause a stain to show up after cleaning, right? It's called oxidation. And so basically, a lot of times, if you guys put on like cologne, if you guys don't put cologne on before you put your clothes on, and you just try to spray it on your neck and it gets on your shirt, after you clean it, because it's oil based, doesn't always come out. Once you apply heat to it on light items, it can cause it to like oxidize and look like it's burnt. So he didn't believe me, and I was like, okay, look, here's the deal. We have this testing, basically it's like CSI for, right? It's a service that we send clothes out to like determine what the stain is, or the fault or damage is, and then they write up a report on all the tests that they conducted on the item of clothing, and they get the report back, and it's like, okay, well, it's because of da 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 da. This is consumer's fault, or it's the cleaner's fault, right?
Yeah,
they're the like third party last say in these things.
Yeah.
So I send it's just procedure, right? Because I was like, dude, I can't identify this. Look, I just want to send it out just for it is. This lady throws a fucking fit at me the next day. She calls and calls and calls when I'm like busy with customers, and she kept calling, and I was like, holy fuck, Linda. Of course her name's Linda.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get too deep into this, but she was basically bitching and she was like, why would you send it out? Why do you have to send it out? Da da da. This, and I was like, and I explained to her the first time calmly, and then she asked me again, and I explained to her again calmly, and then she asked me a third time, and I was like, Linda, I have to send it out. She's like, why would you send it out just for a $50 pair of pants? And I was like, I don't care how much the pants cost. That's not the point. I need to find out what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So we get the results back, and it's their fault. They spilled something on there, because the only thing that we could spill on there is water. Nobody around the area drinks anything else but water while they're working, right? So she throws another fit, calls me an ageist, says that I have something against old people. I was like, oh, this fucking lady just won't fucking leave me alone. I was like, I'm not paying her for her pants, her stupid fucking pants. I'm not paying for it. I was like, fuck you. So she ends up calling. She was like, well, I want I was like, I have the report here. Do you want me to email it to you? And she's like, no. It's like, no, I don't want the report. I just want to know why you guys would do it and And I was like, at the end of the call, she's like, well, I want to talk to people who conducted the test and I want to find out exactly what they did. And I was like, okay, so do you want me to email you the report then? She's like, yes. And I was like, okay. Like, it's exactly what I tried to do in the first place. So she ends up calling the head at the testing facility. And then she calls me back and she's like, well, we both agree that you should send the pants back for a reanalysis. And I was like, all right, fuck it, whatever. I'll talk to Mary, at the testing facility. I ended up talking with Mary. Mary and I had a good chat. She's like, who is this lady? I was like, oh, you've met, you had the same opinion about our mutual friend here? She's like, yeah, she started telling me about how her daughter's a scientist and how oxidation doesn't happen that fast and da da da. I was like, oh my god, yeah, she tried telling me the same thing too. To make a long story short, I sent the pants back, got it redone for free. Get the report back. Husband comes in. He's like, where's the report? And I was like, here you go. He's like, well, what does it say? And I was like, the same exact thing it said last time. And then he reads through it, doesn't say nothing. And I was like, do you want to take the report with you? I have an extra copy for myself. He's like, yeah, I should take it.
Haven't heard fucking pants.
Yeah. Like, here's your fucking pants. I could have easily solved it. It's a simple $50 problem. I could have easily paid them, right?
Yeah.
And just to make it go away. But then I was like, but then what? Then what happens the next time something like this happens with them? Am I gonna keep paying for their clothes? Right? It's like I gotta put a stop to it at some point. And it's like, I don't care how long you've been coming here. Like, if you're a fucking dick and you don't want to like talk to me like an adult, I'm not helping you. And I don't. You couldn't pay me enough money to be a customer of mine. Like, it's just not worth it.
Here, I have a special VIP club just for you. All cleaning is 4 times the normal rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the asshole tax.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the worst one. And she just and to this day, they still come. They don't say a damn word to me. They still come.
No, of course not.
Clothes. They don't complain. He's actually even nicer to me now. Like, I don't understand that.
People's brains are fucking weird. That's all I've learned in the last 41 years on this earth. People are dumb. And that's it. I shouldn't say the general public are dumb. People aren't dumb, but they got.
Yeah, people are stupid. No, let's just be fair here. All right, people are fucking idiots. Oh, Andrew Wee. You know Andrew Wee?
Yeah, I know Andrew Wee.
Oh, he's on. He commented.
Yeah, I see the comment. Yeah.
Oh man.
I'll talk moving on about that after offline. Yeah. Man, now I want to fucking find that Twitter because I learned about it on from a event. Some guy who I bought his book. He was talking about it, and I think that thing was, and it wasn't in the book. That really made me mad.
Anyways, while you're doing that, I think if I had to put a point to the story that I just told, yeah, even though like something is easy to just pay, basically like a paywall, right? Pay to get rid of the problem.
Yeah,
it's not always your best option.
Not always.
Sometimes you just gotta like tell the person like, gracefully to like fuck off. It's like I did everything right. I did everything on my part that I should have done. They still wasn't happy with it. And it's like, well, no. Just I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna, bend the knee and like, suck your cock when I'm right. and you're fucking wrong. So like, you can leave. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think like a lot of companies that do this do it at a discretionary level. Like they enable customers to go when a customer really did get fucked, to enable customers to go, or employees to go, you know what, we fucked up. Let us fix it for you.
Yeah.
Not when an obvious problem caused by the customer, then you go, we did everything we could to help you. There's conflict there's a ton of videos and products about conflict resolution out there, that get down to the core of what people want. They want to be understood, they want to be heard. But like you said, if you're being belligerent, that's the time when I go, I'm not dealing with your shit anymore. That's when it's, if you're being belligerent to an employee of a company that probably had nothing to do with your problem, that makes you a piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean, and this is part of the reason why, like, I try to do everything that I can. First and foremost, like, I'll listen. I'll try to understand what the situation is. I'll try to explain. I'll do everything I can to like make them happy without actually kind of like bending the knee, in a sense.
Yeah.
And I won't ever like accuse them or whatever, like no, dude, like you're fucking stupid. This is your fault. It's like I had this one guy come in. He came in to pick up his clothes. He's like, I'm leaving for California. I have a church thing to go to. It was like on a Saturday, and he had his church thing on Sunday. And like I couldn't find his order. And I was like, I don't have anything for you. I was like, the last thing that I had for you was like 2 months ago, right? And you picked that up 2 months ago. And he's like, no, I brought it here like 3 days ago, and I need it for this weekend. And I was like, do you have another number that you use, under a different account? Do you use a different name? I'm like going through like everything, right? I'm like, look, I can even run through the entire conveyor of clothes if you want to, like, if you spot it, because he said like it's a powder blue suit jacket, pretty hard to miss.
Yeah.
So I started going through, and then he's like, dude, I don't see it. Do you? He's like, no. And he's like, I was like, okay, because I've had this happen before. I was like, is it possible that you took it to another cleaner's? And he got so offended by that. He's like, what the fuck do you mean? I have to take another cleaner. Like, hey. I'm just saying, I've had this happen in the past before. Is it possible that you took it to another cleaners? I'm just asking. I'm exploring the possibilities. And he's like, no, I didn't take another cleaners. And he started getting more pissed off at me. So he ends up leaving. I think he was in the car with his mom. He sat in the parking lot for like 10 minutes, gets out of the car, walks back in. He's like, hey, man, I found the jacket. And I was like, oh, cool. Where'd you find it? And he's like, is that another cleaners? And I was like, oh, I'm so glad we got that situated. Oh, fucking asshole.
All right. So I found the Starbucks conflict resolution process.
All right.
It's latte.
What do you mean? It's
an acronym.
Oh, God damn it. Again.
So I'm going to run through it real quick, just so anybody who's watching, if they get this far, they're going to appreciate this. So it's latte. Listen to the customer, acknowledge the problem and solution and situation, take action to solve the problem, thank the customer, and explain what you did again.
Oh, there you have it, folks.
I mean, if you're going to, like, Starbucks is one of the biggest food companies in the world. That's their process.
Okay, I guess. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean,
I know.
You mean just like have common sense?
Yeah. Well, but remember, we're talking about like earlier when somebody walks into your store and they're being an asshole. They're lacking common sense. The person on the receiving end of it is lacking common sense because their day just got fucked. It's an emotional shitstorm.
You're right. I mean, considering considering the fact that like since I own the place and we're like just a small mom and pops kind of organization kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're working on like a nationwide, worldwide company level, it's like, yeah, you represent the company and you have to take certain actions. Like I get that. That's fine. Yeah. I don't agree with it, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Like there's a McDonald's in the same plaza as us. And I know the manager there because her mom owns the McDonald's. Good for her.
Yeah.
So I know the manager there. Good for her. But she's super cool. She's very nice to talk with. And she like gets like the craziest people. My stories don't even compare to people who go to McDonald's, man.
No.
God. Fucking.
Well, if you think your problems are bad, think about the discount cleaners.
Oh, yeah. You mean all the ones that are closed down because they couldn't make it?
Yeah.
Because they're always discounting everything?
Yeah. But even like when they open back up because they got another round of like they decided to open back up.
Oh, God bless.
The recipient, like the staff are low wage. The people are paying low discounted rates. They're going because they were looking for a discount to clean one of the probably most expensive pieces of clothing they own.
Yeah, right. It's like you want to bring in like a $500 suit jacket and you want to clean for $1.99.
Yeah, good luck.
What do you expect?
Yeah, you might as well just put it in your dryer
and then set your dryer on fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
so
man. Yeah, dude. I tried doing promotions twice for that place, right? And it worked. It worked. I didn't do like Groupon or anything like that because fuck Groupon, that shit would like ruin me. But I tried doing promotions. It was basically the promotion was, which I thought was pretty good. First time customers only. You come in, you get $10 credit just to try us out. You like it, great. Keep coming back, kind of thing, right? It's like, how can you lose?
Yeah.
So they give their email. You get the coupon through email. You bring it in, or you show us the email or whatever, and we're like, okay, cool. You get your $10 credit. Whatever. Most things, like a suit jacket's like $8.50. So it's like it'll cover like a few things.
Yeah.
Here. I got the fucking bottom of the barrel, fucking coming out of the woodworks customers,
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, it just was not worth the headache that I had to deal with because they get their stuff back. And they're like, why is there a piece of lint on here? And it's like, oh my God. I was like,
lint's not covered in dry cleaning.
That I just like, it's not. Oh, so and then I was like, okay, maybe I'm doing this wrong, or maybe I just had a bad run, right? I thought I narrowed down my audience. I was like doctors, lawyers, things like that, within like a 5-mile radius, right? Yeah. Somehow, bottom of the barrel people still found the discount and they came by, and I was like, never again. I'm never fucking doing this again. Like, I don't care what people say. Like, yes, business is business. Like, it pretty much operates the same way. Like, you got to have customers, you got to make money, you got to make profit, right?
Yeah.
But industry-wise, there are subtle differences in the people you deal with and your operations and all that.
I honestly, so I'm gonna kind of lean in on like what we do, and what Rocker Referrals does.
Mm-hmm.
What we try to do with customers is, we try to find the best customers because those are the ones who are most likely to give referrals. They're going to stay longer. They're going to buy more stuff. So finding those customers, I think, is where in creating an experience for those customers is where businesses really succeed. And it really, what we've figured out is it starts at setting the expectations at the beginning of a relationship.
Yes.
If the beginning of the relationship starts with, if the only reason they came to you was because you were cheaper, or because they got a free discount, or they got a discount, and that's the reason they came to you, they're going to be that person. But if they come to you as a new customer and you offer what I call a surprise and delight after they become a customer.
This is kind of like a Dan Kennedy, like shock and awe box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's the same principle, just on a smaller, like in a not so expensive
yeah.
rate. Like like figure out a way for the fifth time a customer comes in, to track them and like give them a discount their shirt or something. The fifth time they've come back, and don't tell them it's going to happen. Just do it.
Right. Yeah.
The surprise and delight is way more effective at getting customers to think about you again, or to maintain that relationship. And that's what a dry cleaner, an insurance company, a software company, relationships are where people really get ahead. And I know it's really hard when you're dealing with dipshits and dumbasses all day. So the 80%, those are going to be your 80%. It's like the Tim Ferriss rule, the 80-20 principle. 20% of your customers are going to be the ones you want to give referrals and the ones you want to have more business with.
Yeah.
The other 80% are dipshits.
Yeah.
Or they're just, they're costing you time rather than making you money. And it's trying to figure out who those customers are and how to create that process for them.
Yeah. And I don't think like, a lot of times the emotional stress costs a lot more than the monetary value that you're losing, know? Like if I have to deal with somebody and it's like every time they come in, like as soon as I see their car pull up and I start getting stressed. Yeah. It's like, fuck this fucking person. Like, God damn it. It's just not worth it. I'm like, I had this one guy, he used to own his own dry cleaners back in the day. Right. So ask me how I know.
Because he told you 700 times.
And he has to mention something every fucking time he comes in to pick up his clothes. Like, hey, and he's like Italian, right? It's like, your boiler's too hot. It's too hot. You see, the steam's too hot. And I was like, oh my God, like, shut up. Anyways, so he would always bitch and complain to my employee, my front desk employee, right?
Yeah.
And she would report back to me like, hey, Sam came in again and he said da 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 da. And I was like, this fucking guy. I was like, why does he never come when I'm here? So I had to go and work early one time to cover for somebody. So I was finally there when he came by to pick up, and he started bitching again. So like I had my AirPods in and I was just walking around acting like, I couldn't hear anything and I was just doing whatever. And he doesn't know who I am, right? Most people don't even know I'm the owner, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, no, he's too young to be the owner. So he starts bitching about the quality, the pressing of his pants again or whatever, and this and that. And then I told him, I was like, Sam, it's like, yeah, I understand you used to own your own dry cleaners. And he looks at me, he's like, yeah, who are you? And I was like, he's like, are you the owner? I was like, yeah, I'm the owner. And he's like, well, your pant, your boiler's too hot and you guys are pressing too hard and da-da-da. I was like, Sam. I was like, here's your money back. He's like, I was like, I can't help you anymore. We're not a good fit for you, Yeah. And he's like, no, I don't want to. No, I don't want my money back. He's like, I want to keep working. I want to get my pants pressed here. And I was like, no, we can't do this anymore. I was like, you complain every single time you come in here. I can't help you anymore. And we tell you the same thing every single time. So here's your money. Here's your clothes back. We're not a good fit for you.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to put this on Yelp. And I was like, okay, go ahead. I was like, I have cameras and I have audio recording, which shows me giving your money back and telling you why we're not accepting you as a customer anymore. Go ahead. That's what I tell everybody when they're like, oh, I'm putting it on Yelp. It's like, go ahead.
Yeah. Well,
got audio and video recording.
Like anymore, I love when people say, oh, I'm going to give you a bad review, or I'm going to give you everybody, and now like what people do is they go, if they even use Yelp anymore, they go and they'll look at not just what that person said about that review, they'll go and look at that person's profile. And that person's profile is probably littered with nothing but 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
And it's like, then their review is now discounted, and they go back. And one thing, like, in our software, that's one of the things we help insurance agents do is like find out the people who will likely give a good review. What we found is people, and this is millions of reviews. This is coming from Google and Moz Local and stuff. Companies who have 1 or 2 negative reviews actually see better responses and new business, because it shows they've actually got real customers, and they didn't use some review bot or
Right.
go to Fiverr and get 1,000 or 100 Google reviews. Because Yelp is so fucking notorious for being terrible.
No, that's absolutely right, because it's like it shows realism, right? I mean, you can't be 100% to everybody. It's just or 5 stars to everybody. It's just not possible. You're gonna piss somebody off.
Yeah.
Or somebody's just gonna have a problem with you regardless, because they're just fucking unhappy people.
Yep.
Let me show you something real quick.
I think that the funny people should, like, businesses shouldn't be afraid of getting, if you did the right thing, who cares if they leave you a 1-star review? And then, but don't be a dick when you review, when you respond to it.
Well,
yeah, it's hard not to.
Yeah, you should be professional. I mean, I've had a couple of reviews that I responded to. I'll go over them in just a moment. But anyways, so yeah, here's ours, right? For Yelp, right? 3 stars. We only have 16 reviews, right? And that's the only ones that Yelp is actually showing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to go over this real quick. Where for a lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, but if you go down to the very bottom of the page,
mm-hmm.
it says 13 other reviews that are not currently recommended. Okay, yeah. So if you click on that. Well, fuck him. I don't like her anyways. Look, 4-star, 5-star, 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 5-star. I mean, can I?
Yeah.
Can I keep going?
There's some commonalities among those too. They've only left like 1 or 2 reviews in the past. They don't have any. They've never engaged in the platform.
Well, look at this, 20 reviews.
Yeah.
Why isn't it showing? I mean, I get what you're saying. I understand that. Like, if they've only used it once or twice, they don't like 1 or 2 reviews. It's like, okay, fine, algorithms filter it out or whatever, right? Yeah. Like, but this one only only has 5 reviews in the whole thing. Why is? Well, actually, I take that back. It's not showing. But all the good reviews, Yelp doesn't show, right?
Unless you pay them.
Unless you pay them. Yeah.
Which is in any other reality, that's called extortion.
Apparently not to the courts.
No, because it's yeah. Anyways, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share probably a response that my co-founder handled much better than I would have.
Okay. I should be able to see it if it pops up here.
Just a second.
There we go.
It's on my big screen, so it's probably really small. Let me zoom in a little bit.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unhappy with results.
Yeah. So here's the date she left the review.
Okay.
January 7th, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
They canceled their account in 2017.
Oh my God. Oh, that's just fucking infuriating. Oh.
And the funny thing is, the majority, like the cons, So the majority of our customers come to us and they want Google reviews, which we're really good at getting. Almost nobody is like, because the job of Rocket Referrals isn't to give you referrals, it's to create an experience to where people want to give you referrals. Like, we're not a referral management software. And like, we've had so many customers, we're like, are you pound this into your skull? This isn't what we do. Probably a reason I'm no longer on the phone, but not account management, sales calls. Listen, you big dummy.
Probably not the best approach.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think if a customer comes in, they're being an asshole, try to resolve the problem, but like, don't let them extort you.
Yeah.
If you do the right thing, it doesn't matter what they walk out the door and do, because it's more about how you feel about the interaction after it's done than anything else.
Well, they're gonna fucking lie anyways.
Yeah.
In the review, they're gonna be like, "Well, I'm gonna fucking leave you a 1-star review," and it's like, "All right, go ahead, man." Like,
yeah.
And this is what I tell everybody is like, there's a reason why I have cameras and audio recording in our place.
Yeah.
Like the cameras kind of worked at the beginning just on its own, but then when it started coming down to like, well, he said, she said kind of thing, it's like, fucking A, I have to put fucking audio recording in there. And I upgraded the hard drive to like a 4 terabyte just so I could have like, I think the most I can do right now is like 90 days.
Yeah. Rolling.
90 full days, of like recording.
Yeah.
It helps. And people will still lie to you, like, oh man,
It's funny because for the longest time, we had everybody in the company on Pipe Drive.
Mm-hmm.
What we ended up figuring out is we didn't need, because we had a customer who basically said we weren't doing our due diligence of making sure they were doing their job, like doing the things they're required to do to manage their account.
Mm-hmm.
And I pulled it, they came back to me because it was originally I had sold, like, it came in through an enterprise deal and I had sold the agency myself. They came to me and said, Nick, can you look into this? And I dug into it, and I had handed it off to an account manager weeks before, or a couple weeks after I had sold the account. So I'm like, I'm gonna dig it. Like, I haven't had an interaction with this company in like a year.
Mm-hmm.
So we dug in and went into our email records and had like just sent screenshots of the email of us attempting to get them to fucking respond to our account manager.
Yeah.
And then I actually found an email where they CC'd me, the person who was responsible for the account, and the account principal, the person who owned the company, on their side, trying to get them to upload a report. And we're like, we've tried every month, twice a month for 6 months to get you to do this. You didn't do it. You refused to acknowledge us. We're not refunding your money. You can cancel your account. Go ahead. Please do.
Yeah.
But we're not refunding you because you didn't use it for 6 months, because you ignore, and we attempted. And our system even sends you an email every week with notifications. It sends the owner and the manager an email with notifications about the account status. Like, you ignore emails, that's not our problem.
Right. Yeah.
And we have the email records. Like, email is like, if our account manager wasn't doing that, I would have said, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have a responsibility of maintaining, your account yourself too. It's not our job. But like, I love when people like try to lie and cover their own ass.
It's just, I get it. I get why they do it. Nobody wants to be made look a fool, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, but don't publicly complain.
Yeah.
Because I've had the one I wanted to show you was I don't even think it's like that bad. Sorry, give me just a moment. because she badmouthed me, but at the same time, it's like she was like complimenting me too. Like I just got a little confused.
Yeah.
Because we cleaned her comforter and like I don't remember. It was so long ago. She wasn't happy with it. She was complaining to me. She was like, "This is brand new." Da 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 da. And I was like, "Well, looking at your, just looking at the tag, right?" And I was like, "There's no ways that this is new. They're like, you had it cleaned multiple times, whatever."
Yeah.
So she got really pissed off at me, and she wrote a really Oh, here it is. I'm not gonna read through the whole thing. The only thing I wanted to point out was oh, here we go. So spoke to the owner, who was a smooth operator with an attitude and wanted to argue with me. Pretty much called me a liar. And was like, "Why would you call me a smooth operator? Like that's just it doesn't make sense in your review." Yeah, she was pretty pissed, but it's like, what are you gonna do,
Yeah.
And then you get people who like the woman who hemmed my dress overcharged me, only wanted an inch cut of my dress and charged me $35 for it. It's like it doesn't matter how much you get taken off. We don't charge by the inch.
Yeah.
And it's like I tried looking her up and I was like, so I responded, right? It's like, hey, message me your phone number so I can look into it. Da 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 da. Message her on April last or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And she never responded. And I was like, hey, haven't heard from you. Like, have you given up? And it's like these people just, I don't know, they just complain just to complain.
That's a personality type. That's like why I don't go to Yelp.
Yeah, I don't look at Yelp for reviews. I'm like
anything, not even restaurants. Like I'll look at Travel Advisor before I go to, and I know it's fake. Like if we're going out of town, like the last time I was in Vegas, I'm like, I'm gonna look at Travel Advisor ratings before I go to Yelp ratings for restaurants in Vegas. Yeah, and I know they're probably fake.
Well, I go to Google. I mean,
yeah,
like Google. We have 24 reviews. We're like 4.6 stars. It's like, can you see the disparity here?
Yeah. Yeah, we had. So I was just looking at our Google reviews, and we had one. We had an agency give us 2 stars like 2 years ago. We have so many 5-star ratings. Google doesn't even register that 1 2-star. We have a 5.0 rating on Google.
If anything, it's like 5 or like 4.9999999.
Yeah,
but then it's just like, well, might as well round up, right?
Yeah, Google's like, these guys are good. We'll just round it up for them.
Yeah. That's funny, man.
Yeah, like I remember, I used to work for a credit repair company, and like those guys legitimately deserve the 2-star rating they have. It was. They were like the people who worked inside the company, the people who were doing the actual like sending the letters and interacting with creditors and stuff like that. They legitimately were heroes for dealing with the asshole that owned that company. Like I was inside sales, and that guy treated me like I was a fucking intern. I'm like, listen, man, we graduated from high school the same year. I'm doing everything I can to get more sales. It's not my fault you buy shitty leads and won't give me a budget to actually generate leads ourselves. Like he was buying like old aged leads from a lead generation company. And they were like mortgage leads. So we were like, these were people who had basically tried to get like a high interest rate a mortgage because they had shitty credit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I can call 200 people. I can call 100 people a day in these leads, and I might get 3 people on the phone, and all 3 of them are going to hang up on me because they've never fucking heard of me. You won't even let me email them because we can't email them because we didn't legitimately get the email.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Like that company legitimately deserves the 2-star credit, this 2-star Google review they have. The reviews.
Dude, I recently got my credit report repaired.
Yeah.
And this one guy out of New York might actually have him come up on the show. Talk about
I mean it's a legitimate industry. if it's not run by a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And there, the guy I know, that's actually used to work for that same company, started his own shop out in Arizona.
Hmm.
And I'm like, if anybody needs credit repair, I just refer him to them because I trust him and I know he's not a fucking douchebag that treats his employees like shit. So
Yeah.
And it was funny because the reviews were almost always about him, the owner of the company, not the work that was done. It was always the douchebag that runs this company.
Yeah, like Yelp and all that stuff was supposed to be like the great equalizer, right?
Yeah.
Like it was supposed to be kind of like an accountability thing. And then of course, people have a tendency to ruin good things, right?
Yep.
So it just turned into like this cesspool. But I mean, if you're bad, you're like really bad. It's like, okay, well, those reviews are legitimate,
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because we talk about like our customers all the time are like, I want to get more reviews. I want to get more reviews. I'm like, why do you want to get more reviews? What benefit do you get from getting more reviews? Like because they just want 100 reviews on their fucking Google account, Google review, my business. And I'm like,
I just want to seem legitimate.
Why do you want 100? Why isn't getting reviews consistently over time important to you? And like I figured it out. It's ego.
Yeah, it is.
They just have, or some guru sold them a load of shit on a course that said if you get 100 Google reviews, you'll get more business. And I'm just like, it's ego, and you got sold a load of shit. So now you're doubling down on that load of shit that you spent money on. I was like, if you get 2 reviews a month over 4 years, you'll get the reviews you want, the number you want, and you're going to get them right, and you're going to get them from the right people. But people want to game the system. And now what we're seeing in like the HVAC industry, because we have a couple customers in that, dude, if you search for HVAC in Des Moines, everybody has like 1,800 Google reviews. So guess what? Having a sheer number of Google reviews has done for everybody. It watered it down.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck. Yeah. It's like travel advisor reviews.
Who wants to read through all that?
Well, and not just that. If everybody has 1,800 Google reviews, nobody believes it. It's you've watered down the importance of it.
How can you? How many people live in Des Moines?
A few 100,000, but not 1,800 people have legitimately left a review. Not 1,800 people haven't legitimately been happy with their HVAC service. Like, the last time my furnace got repaired.
About that. Though.
Yeah, well, they goad people into it with like discount, like they're review gating people, and they're breaking the rules, and they're offering discounts for that review.
Yeah, no, I just mean like legitimately, like who would write a review for an HVAC? Like if they come to fix my AC, it's like cool, it's working. All right, great. Like that's all I care about. I don't care. I'm not leaving you a fucking review. Like
that's like a wide receiver making catching an 11-yard pass and celebrating.
Throws it down on the ground.
Yeah. Asking for a Google review because you did your job. Now, if you came out at 3:00 in the morning, fixed the problem, and cost me less money than I expected, I'll probably give you a Google review. But to just come out and refill the fucking Freon in my AC, don't ask me for a Google review.
Yeah, it's like I tried doing the whole, asking for reviews thing at the beginning because I was like, because we didn't have any social presence, right? Before I took over for my in-laws. So I set up all the accounts. I set up the Google, I set up the Yelp and everything like that. So I was like, okay, I just need to tell people about this so that we're there. You can leave a review if you want. So I did that for a while, and it was just like, I don't like this.
Yeah,
I'm getting tired of asking people to leave a review. It's like, if fuck it, dude. If you like it, just go ahead. I don't care.
Like if we gave you great service, would you please give me a Google review? that would get tiresome for everybody.
Yeah, and it's like I don't remember who I talked to because it's a repeat business, right?
Yep.
So it's like same people coming in all the time. Dude, like I said, we have 24 reviews on Google, 16 reviews on Yelp, right?
Mhm.
And on Google we have like almost, it's basically 5 stars besides this one stupid bitch who left us a fucking 1-star review, and I don't even know why. She's just like left a 1-star review, and I was like, I tried responding to her, and she didn't fucking leave it, respond back. Anyways, yeah, all those reviews on there, unsolicited, didn't ask
Yep.
for it. It's just like, oh, cool, thanks, and I don't even respond back to most of them because I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah. Man, I think dry cleaners should be the next industry Rocker Furrows gets into. Do you have a POS? Can you export a report of your customers and with a customer sense date? We can do it for the low price of $300 a month.
I tried because like our POS system you can put emails in there under their accounts, but can't export it. Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Dude, I've got one customer who wants to, a friend of mine who has a local basically a property management maintenance company. So they do all the property maintenance for property management companies.
Mm-hmm.
And he really wanted to use Rocket Referrals to get to access to our handwritten cards and do the other things we do. They'll use the rest of the software and like the texting, get access to the texting platform when we launched it and stuff like that. And I had him send me his data, and I'm like, no, I'm not even bother, man. Not even worth it. What piece of shit software? And this apparently the software they use is like the industry standard for their company, for their industry. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, maybe we need to write some software.
Yeah.
Like, can't you use like a CRM, please?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would cost me money. I'm like, it should. It's supposed to because it's important. You know how mowing grass and applying chemicals and weed eating is important? Well, so's your data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe that's like left for another topic for next time. Just people, the psychology behind why people won't spend money on things that are actually important.
Oh, I had this discussion this morning in our marketing team meeting about our customers, and it's like, so our customers are insurance agencies. Their job is to provide options for covering risk, for insuring risk.
Yeah.
They're the expert, and they want their customers to come to them because they're the expert. But when it comes to digital marketing, when it comes to websites, when it comes to software, they refuse to pay experts to do their job. And it's not just insurance agents, it's every small business industry on the planet. Because like you're the expert dry cleaner. Well, if you want something done, there's 2 options. You either have to do it or you have to pay someone else to do it.
Yeah.
And is it worth the pain
or time?
Is the time well, time is a pain. Like it's or so many people get caught up in the I've already paid this much for this thing but it doesn't work. Well, you're going to continue to pay for it even though it doesn't work.
The sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah, like just get over it, move on.
Yeah, I know. I like.
And it's hard. Like I completely, as somebody who's run a business, I've completely appreciate where they're coming from, because it's another expense. It's another thing they have to track. It's another thing somebody has to manage. I get that, but at some time, business owners have to go, fuck it, I'm paying somebody to do this. It's like if I wasn't renting and I own this house I'm in, and there was a plumbing problem, I wouldn't try to fix it because my background's in electricity.
Mm-hmm.
not water. I'd rather shock myself than deal with sewer.
I mean, there's a certain point, like I'm a kind of like a do-it-yourselfer kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like it only because it's like it's different and it's challenging.
Yep.
But there are certain points where it's like, I'm not touching this.
Yeah.
I'm just like, nope. Like, if you want me to like, I don't know, like replace my HVAC unit or something. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. No, fuck that. I was
I'm
like,
blow myself up.
because I know I could do it.
Yeah.
Probably. But I don't have any experience doing it, so I don't know approximately how long it's going to take me to do it. I don't know how much it's going to cost me to do it. I don't know. Like, I just want somebody to come in and out in like 2 hours. Like, if I needed my AC, especially here in Vegas, with summertime coming, it's like, I'm not fucking doing it. I'm paying somebody to do that for me, you know?
Yep. Well, I think it's sometimes just explaining how that time suck of doing the thing that the expert does is where a lot of people struggle.
Yeah.
Like my suit. I'm going to take my suit to a dry cleaner because I'm going to fuck it up if I try to do anything with it. And I don't want to have to buy another suit. I have one.
Yeah.
And I hate wearing suits. So if like when I have to wear it, I want my one suit to look nice.
Right. I don't, and kind of circling back around to the point you were talking about, like setting expectations, right? Yeah, super important. So like whenever people come in and they're like, they ask me a question and I start getting a little nervous, not like for myself, but I'm like for them, right? Because I'm like, oh man, like here we go. All right, so here's the deal. This stain that you say is chocolate, probably not going to come out. I'm just letting you know firsthand, right? It's like, they're like, no, it should be fine. It should just come out. I'm like, no, sir, ma'am, I have to tell you this. I just have to. Okay, like I tell them this. I'm like, I just have to tell you this. All right, it's a disclaimer. Like, not all stains are created equally. We can try, but we can't guarantee on it. And they're like, what do you mean you can't guarantee? I'm like, we can't guarantee stains. Like, what? I don't understand why that's so fucking hard to understand.
Yeah.
It's like, they're like, no, it should just come right out. I'm like, no.
If it should come right out, why didn't you do it?
Yeah. I'm like, so I have to start asking like basic questions, right? I'm like, well, how long has the stain been on there for? They're like, oh, I don't know. I've had it in my car for about a couple months. I'm like,
so it's been in the Las Vegas heat.
Yeah.
2 months.
I'm like, okay.
Crumpled up in a ball.
Yeah.
In the back of your car because you forgot about it.
Yeah. So I tell them like, okay, look, we can try. It's probably not going to come out. I'm just telling you right now. And they're like, they're so adamant that like, now it's going to come out. I'm like, all right. So they get it back. I'm like, look, we couldn't get it out. They're like, why not? I was like, I told you. I fucking told you 3 days ago when you dropped it off. I was like, do you want me to pull out the recording? Like, God damn it, man.
Yeah, you need to start, like, you need to figure out a way to sync your timestamps to your POS.
Oh, they are. No, it is. No,
so you can pull it up in the POS.
No, okay. So in the POS, it's like when customers drop off and then you complete the order and you create the ticket, it prints out the time.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, you need to have a way to like play it up on a TV.
Oh yeah.
Like customer interaction at this time. Let's rewind.
Yeah.
and then record and get a recording of their reaction to that playing and just put that on YouTube every week.
Man, one of these days when we sell the place, I'm gonna take all these recordings that I have with these customers. I'm just gonna fucking blast them.
That's not good customer service, guys. Anybody who's watching.
Yeah, but well, if you don't have any customers, what difference does it make at that point?
Yeah.
All right, we're rounding up on an hour and a half. You got any other good stories?
Pick
two.
Those two are the ones. Like, okay, so I had another farmer. Had a $6,000 grain moisture tester. They lived in rural Arkansas. Okay, near the Georgia border. And so they get this piece of test equipment. They buy it from us. They put it not in a barn, not in their receiving or their loadout shack. They put it under a lean-to next to the barn and leave it there for like 4 years. So this lean-to has a roof and no sides besides the wall it's sitting against with the barn. And call us and upset that their moisture tester is not working and it's 2 years out of warranty because we threw in a 1 year additional warranty on top of the manufacturer's warranty. I look up, like, we had some, I don't even know what it was, but we had a account management system that linked to our phones. So as soon as somebody calls, it pops up on the screen for us to do it, so we know who we're talking to and don't even have to do anything. And I look up and I was like, the only interaction we've had with you was 4 years ago when we purchased this test equipment. When you purchased this test equipment, what seems to be the problem? Oh, well, we had it sitting in the lean-to, and as soon as I heard those words, I was like, fucking lean-to? And so I say, so is this like a small shed, just not insulated or anything? No, it's just it's got a roof over it and it's poles holding up the roof and it sits on the side of the barn with no walls. And I'm like, did you like put it away at the end of the day? No, it just sat here. And I'm like, wow. I said, here's the deal. It's 2 years out of warranty. You ship it to me and we'll give you an estimate on repair. Because they say it just won't power on and won't do anything. I get it back. And basically every piece of electrical, anything in it, had corroded to the point to where, like, I didn't even plug it in. Like, I opened up the side panel to blow it out because they always had rat shit and stuff inside the computer casing side of it. I didn't even plug it in to try when I got it because I knew it was coming in. And I opened it up and I was like, the main controller circuit board was on a little metal holder. Gone, just rusted away. The circuit board was laying against the interior wall. The power supply was dangling because the screws rusted out. Everything, even the circuit testing board where the grain dumped in and it did the capacitive resistance testing. Gold plated, it rusted gold.
Interesting.
I call him back. I said, listen, there's 2 routes on this. I said, I have some used parts we can swap out, but the main circuit board we don't sell used at any point. The main testing circuit board we don't sell out. We don't sell those used. Nothing on it is repairable. Everything has to be replaced. Even some of the internal, like, structural components have to be replaced. And I don't I was like, I don't even have, like, I've never had to replace this. We don't even stock this. I'd have to scrap a good piece of equipment just to get that component and replace it. And it's going to cost my guy, we charge $175 an hour for service. I said, my estimate is this is going to take us about 10 hours just to reassemble and replace. So you're looking at $1,700 in service. We haven't even started talking about parts yet. I get to it, and we came up to $4,500 to fix it. And it wouldn't
how much
be under warranty.
Retail?
$6,000. He's buy a new one for $6,000.
Yeah. At that point, yeah.
$4,500, no shipping, and no warranty on the service because we had to use used components. So none, like, that voids our warranty, our service warranty.
Right.
Fucker had us fix it.
Okay. But I mean, if you're short $2,000, yeah, I guess what other choice do you have, right?
I made him send me funds before we started fixing it.
Good for you.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no way this guy's going to
That
pay
was
us.
just,
We get this back, we're never going to get paid. I made him, and I charged him a fee for the wire transfer. I charged him $200 to deal with the wire transfer bullshit, because we didn't even know how to do a wire transfer. Like, I had to call my bank. Okay, it's like, this guy wants to do a wire transfer to us. How do I do it?
Yeah.
How do I set it up? Like, our accountant's like, what was this wire transfer for? That guy was such, and I'd been to, and it was a peanut farmer, so it was just everyone in that industry we just knew were just nightmare customers, but
really,
they were just so cheap, and it
is it not like a lucrative industry to be in? I guess
not to be a farmer, not to be a peanut farmer. Like, the money's in the processing and like distribution, and Kraft makes all the money.
Okay.
Kraft and Mr. Peanut make all the money. The farmers don't make all the money. So I remember I sold that piece of equipment physically to that person, because I was down in Georgia doing a trade show, and we happened to just have a bunch of equipment. We're like, let's go try and sell it in the farms. And I was like, I was surprised that guy's check cleared when we came back. So yeah, and I get but at some point, like, economically, like, just buy a new piece of equipment, because the used one's gonna rust out just as fast, and it's probably gonna rust out faster because we didn't replace all the components. We didn't.
Yeah.
The only thing we didn't replace was the main frame. The main frame, like, even the little circuit board for the those keypad circuit boards with the old school, like, keypad circuit boards that were like on like video game controllers, like the old school. Even that rusted out. So there's a circuit board. There's a little keypad that control, like, that you pressed, like the 9 and the 7.
Like on calculators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even that rusted out.
Isn't that sealed?
Yeah.
Oh man,
it was such a bad air environment. And what I ended up finding out later is that farmer had he also had a pig operation there, a hog operation there, and it was this lean-to was like 20 feet from where they stored all the feed for the hogs, and there was this agitator that like kept it so it wouldn't jam up, and it was just all the dust and the wet, soupy air just destroyed that thing. And when I sent it back to him, I said, I'd highly recommend putting this back in the barn.
Yeah.
I know it's probably an extra 30 steps to go test that test. You put it in the barn.
Man, the laziness of people, it's like if you don't do maintenance on your equipment,
your PM, yeah.
Or on your vehicle or things like that, it's like, well, when it breaks down, like, well, what the fuck did you expect?
Yeah. Dude, I'll be honest, I'm not the best about, like, I used to drive this Honda Fit. It was a company car that I got, and then when the company went under, they owed me a bunch of commission money, so they gave me that in addition to the money they owed me.
Nice.
So I got it, and I drove that thing for 60,000 miles and didn't change the oil.
Wow. It's pretty hit.
When I traded it in, the guy was like, this thing's in great condition. I was like, I don't know how. I didn't do it. I changed the brake pads when they absolutely had to be changed.
Yeah.
I didn't fucking, I was like, I don't even give a fuck if this car fucking blows up. I hate it. When I bought my Volkswagen, I traded that thing in, and they were like, oh yeah, it's a Honda Fit. These things will never die. They're like the Subarus of compact cars. And I'm like, Okay, then.
Good game, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I understand the laziness of people, but I'm just sometimes, especially in the ag industry, I was just like, or we'd go on site to do an on-site service, like on-site service and stuff, and I'd be just like, I'm not touching that equipment because I can see the cotton wrapped wire running, cotton wrapped wire in the barn. I was like, I'm not touching this. You're shipping that back to me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm leaving this barn, and I'm putting a flag on your account that we're not doing on-site service. Like when I got back to that, I remember, and I got back to the office for that one, and I looked at the service manager. I said, "You were the last one in that building, in this company. And you didn't that was one of our big ones. If wiring was unsafe, because we could fucking literally electrocute ourselves, or the place could burn down. It's like, you didn't flag this. Why not? Oh, I just forgot about it.
Oh, good for you, Larry. Good job. Fucking Larry.
Yeah. So what about yours? Let's get another one out of you.
Yeah, I think the last one I can do is so I had a major. Yeah, it'll be pretty short.
Yeah.
Fucking guy comes in and scrubs. It's like 6:45 p.m. We close at 7. And our seamstress leaves at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And so comes in, he's like, "Hey, I need to get these pants hemmed." And I was like, "Okay, do you need to try it on, or do you know the length that you want?" And he's like, "Well, of course I need to try it on. Why would I bring it if I didn't need to try it?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, you're gonna be one of those fucking assholes." So I was like, "All right, well, the only reason why I asked is because the seamstress isn't here. She's the only one who can pin you." He's like, "Well, why can't you do it?" And I'm like, "Because I'm not a seamstress." I was like, "It's just our policy." I was like, "We used to do it, but then people complain too much, so she has to do it, right?" And he's like, "I've been coming here for so many years, whatever." He's like, I'm a major in the United States Air Force, and I work at the hospital, and I really need to get these done. I need it done by tomorrow." And I was like, "Cool." I was like, "I can't help you. You can come back tomorrow when she's here." I was like, "I just can't do it." And he's like, "This is bullshit. I've been coming here for years." And I was like, "What's your phone number?" Because I asked everybody their phone numbers when they first come in, right?
Yeah.
It pulls up their account. He hasn't been in for like 4 years. I was like, this guy, and it's like the fucking audacity to be in the military, especially an officer, to be talking to civilians like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
and
you bragged about it. Yeah. And you bragged about that you're a fucking major in the Air Force. It's like, I fucking looked it up, dude. Fucking Paul Heyer, man. Major Paul Heyer. Fucking remember your name, man. Fucking lucky I didn't have fucking audio and video recording back then, dude. I'll fucking blast it. I would fucking take that shit to your commander, man.
Yeah. When I lived in a military town, especially after I got out of the military, like my disdain for the military, the way so many military spouses are the worst.
No,
they're even worse.
Let's not dive into that.
Dude, I was a 130 mechanic, and everybody has a secondary duty, especially if you piss off officers all the time. So I got put onto security detail. So I had to go hang out with security forces twice a year for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they'd because I was just a dumbass airman senior. I was an A1C when this incident happened. Most of the time they just stuck me in the Bronco with somebody else, didn't give me a firearm, and we just sat out on the we just sat out in the middle of nowhere just talk so we didn't fall asleep. But they were short for gate guard, and I'd been training gate guard and everything else, and I didn't salute a lieutenant's wife.
Are you fucking kidding? What
incident happened?
Oh wait, hold up.
Most of the
my
time
bad.
Yeah, I didn't salute a lieutenant's, and the policy I was trained on is coming in, only salute if they're in uniform.
I was gonna say, was she in civvies?
Yeah.
So how were you supposed to know?
Well, they have, like, back then they had the officer bar. Like, there was a blue bar for officers, and it was green bar for enlisted.
Right,
And
but
it's yellow for, yeah. Like,
but if she was in civvies,
she legitimately got out of her car and started screaming at me, and my partner body slammed her to the ground. Like, why would you get out of your car to get a military gate?
Stupid. Oh my god. I don't even want to get into we'll talk about that offline.
That was my favorite one. I was just like, because I was like, dude, I'm a mechanic. I'm not even supposed to be here. You see my little badge here? That's maintenance. There's no firearm. Like, I don't even remember what security forces badge was, but I'm pretty sure it had like 2 M16s on it. Mine had like a wrench and an eagle.
Hey, you know what? We're gonna end it right there, guys. Oh boy.